Hello, good day to you all. Hope you're all doing really well this afternoon or evening, wherever you may be out there in the world. I look forward to talking to you today about this wonderful subject. I find it a very fitting subject to talk about right now because, I was really trying to struggle to think about what I wanted to talk to you guys about, but then I started seeing how a lot of people are talking about in the raw food and vegan community, how a lot of these YouTubers and people like that, are falling off the wagon and just having a lot of health struggles, and they're going back to animal products. And I found it very, ironic that it just shows that, when we try to step up and, live these healthier lifestyles, it comes with lots of challenges, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this subject, is because I have a lot of people that I talk to and I recommend them to eat more fruits and try to have periods of time where you eat only fruit. And after a while of them doing it, when their body's not used to them doing it, then they start to talk about how challenging it is and how it makes them real sensitive and real easy to be irritated and frustrated and just real sensitive to their environment and their family members and people around them, and it can be very challenging, and that's some of the things I wanted to talk about today. And maybe it can help you guys to learn how to handle these challenges a little easier, but okay. I'm going to give some people some chance to start coming on. I have a couple people that have already joined me, Stephanie, and Evan. Thank you guys for coming to listen to me today. But okay, well, I'm going to get started into it. And then as people start to come on, there's Miriam. Hello, Miriam. Hello, guys. But okay, I'm going to get into it. And then as people start coming on, they can, go back and watch the first of the intro and everything. But I talk about the very first bullet point. I'm going to be following these points on the side, of the video here, and you can follow along with me. These are some of the, topics that I'm going to be talking about in this subject. The first one I say, do you want to learn why fruit makes us so sensitive? And when we go on an all fruit fast or an all fruit period of time when we're trying to just do some deeper level detoxing. Well, let's see. Looks like I have some more comments. So I see. Hello, Miriam, and hello, Stefana. Hello, guys. Okay, and there's Carol. Hello, Carol. And all right, we'll get back to it. Why does fruit make us so sensitive? Well, okay, let's start off by saying this. Think about it for so many of us in the world, Excuse me just a second. My nose is a little itchy. Think about it for just a second. So many of us, we don't have the experience of living predominantly off of fruit. Not unless we were raised up in a culture in more of these tropical areas that was always the thing that we ate the majority of because we lived in those areas. But so many of us were either in these westernized countries, or places that we lived, or places in the world that, fruit is not as abundant because it may be, real cold, or areas where it just doesn't grow real available like the tropics, And a lot of us in the United States and Canada and, places like that are real colder climates, and it's hard to get good quality fruit, and people in Europe and stuff like that, it's very challenging because, the way that we've mostly grown up eating has always been food that is predominantly other things besides just fruit. And we have a tendency to not realize until we go into this health journey how much these other foods are kind of like drugs to us. And they are the original drug of mankind. And how it's very challenging to walk away from those things when we feel so deprived sometimes. And we start asking ourselves, should I have to sacrifice giving up these foods to have better quality of health? Because that would be giving up some of the joys that I have in life. But what I say is, guys, remember, the way that we wake up every day and the way we feel in life is the best reward of all. And I know I feel the best all the time when I eat predominantly fruits, mostly, with maybe a little bit of green sometimes and a little bit of things like that. But when I start to eat all these other foods that I've just kind of drifted away from over the years, because every time I eat too much of them, or even sometimes just a little bit of them, they really don't make me feel the best. And I feel more sluggish or tired, or just I feel digestive discomforts, things like that. So what the first thing that I can suggest you try to do is just associate discomfort and pain with those foods that you may be having challenges with, because you're still addicted to them, or you're still have some kind of you're drawn to them some. And then also, as we're keeping on transitioning to these mucus-free diets and lifestyles, or mucus-lean lifestyles, and periods of time when we're really digging deep and we're just mostly doing all fruits, we want to do a good candida cleanse or yeast cleanse, because that can help our cravings a lot, and it can make it easier for us to stick with the fruits. But the main thing is, the reason why it makes us so sensitive is because fruit is called the great revealer. It helps to reveal these weaknesses that we have inside of us, and that is bringing everything to the surface. And so what it does is, not only is it bringing your weaknesses that you have in your body, but it's also bringing up any old emotions that were stored in your body from these spiritual and emotional challenges, even way back to when we were kids. And also some of the emotional and spiritual challenges that we may have taken on from our parents, just being in their environment, or even from our mom when we were growing inside of her belly. We have these energies trapped in our bodies, and these emotions trapped in our cells and our bodies, along with the toxins. And so when we start detoxing and eating these more higher electrical foods, especially the fruit, that's another reason why it makes us so sensitive, is because it's so highly electrical that it's making us real sensitive to all the environments, which really, in a way, it's a good thing, because you can feel higher levels of joy and happiness and gratitude and appreciation. You can feel the alkalinity much easier for us, than you can, than you can on these more sedative diets, And also, at the same time, though, what's challenging about it is it can make you more sensitive to your environments, other people around you, other people in bad moods, other people that have a lot of drama going on, and just, things like that. But again, I think if we can, be able to strengthen our control of how much we let it affect us, we can understand that that's really a good thing, because it's helping us to realize that, hey, man, maybe we need to distance ourselves from those environments and those maybe groups of people, And so really and truthfully, I think if we learn to embrace the sensitivity that we can get from these kind of diets and things, it sometimes can help open up that part of ourself that we can really get in touch with, that we can really have the quality of life as a human that we really desire. And so that's why it's about retraining the brain and learning that sometimes these things that are the most challenging are the best thing we need for ourselves. Not always what we want, but what we need, And so that's why it's very challenging. But I'm going to keep going. The next one I say, do you want to learn why it is more the fruits that do it than the veggies? Yeah, well, that's because the electrical energy that's in the fruits, and also because they're astringent, and a lot of them are, and they're going to pull on the body and pull out more of the toxins and the accumulations, and anything that's stirring up more of these toxins and accumulations and trying to dissolve these pockets of trash, that's also going to stir up these emotions from the past. So really, right off the bat, for those of you that may not can stay here the whole time, I already give you one of the main punchlines of this whole talk. Is it really, if you really want to boil it down to it, is that all we have to learn is that the spiritual and the emotional part of being a human is always the most important. That's what we want to focus on the most in our journeys in life, is being spiritually and emotionally balanced and learning how to handle our stress. Because honestly, guys, to make it real simplified, if you can handle that part and you can master that, because that's the most challenging and that's really who we truly are, we're a spirit having a human experience, then just enjoying your life in this physical body is much easier, because you're learning how to be more of a human. A spirit having a human experience than the other way around. And see, so many times, because we're on this plane of duality, we get hung up on just viewing ourselves as this physical body. And that's one thing I've been talking a lot in my Facebook group myself, on my Facebook live talks that I have, on Sunday afternoons or Sunday evenings. And I talk about that a lot, about how so many of these people, when they start having lots of stress and responsibility and all of that going on, that's really what's making it hard for them to stick to the all fruit and these healthy diets. And then they start thinking of all these excuses that they can change that up. And really, when these people talk about they got all these deficiencies and all these problems, and they think that animal products some way are going to help them with that, that's just really an excuse. It's just an excuse to just go back to the foods that suppress these feelings. And what suppresses these feelings the most? Fat of any kind. It bogs us down. It makes it harder for our bodies to be able to bring this stuff to the surface to help you become aware of it, so that you can address it and help it to be healed. And that's why fat is so popular as the great suppressor, and it's the great sedator and great relaxer. That's why we love our fat food so much. And that's why the keto and the paleo and all that is so popular, is that it suppresses even their pain and their worries and their concerns about their health. And it gives them the illusion that they're getting better because it's taking away their pain, when really it's just suppressing it. And, all of the greats, including Dr. Morse, he says, what you suppress today will be your nightmare tomorrow, because it will always be worse the more you suppress it, versus just learning how to help your body to address it when it comes to the surface. Because remember, guys, when it's coming to the surface, it wants you to help it then. It doesn't want you to put it off till later, because it's like saying that, hey, now's the time, and you want to have so much self-love that you're able to handle these challenges easier. That's why if you keep your love tank really full for yourself and your life and the way you view life, and then you keep your stress tank really low, if you have anything that comes in that can be quite stressful that's new, it won't overfill your stress tank. And if you have enough self-love and gratitude and happiness for how your life is going, even for the challenges that's going on, then those stressors, those new stressors and things like that, they won't affect you as bad. See, that's just the problem, though. A lot of us, we're going through such tough challenges that sometimes we'll start to doubt what we're doing, and we'll start to have less love for ourselves, because we'll start thinking, oh, what have I got myself into? Or what am I doing? What if all these people are right, and that's the reason why they're falling off the wagon too? And what if what I'm doing is not really what it's cut out to be, that so many people want us to believe, And you just start having all these doubtful thoughts coming into the mind, and that just only makes it worse, because you're just starting to think negatively. There's what we want to do that we can be the most successful is we want to try as much as possible to live in an alkaline lifestyle, and that's alkaline thoughts, emotions, food, water, environments, people around us, all of these different things that can help to lift us up and help us to feel better about our lives, not trying to spread, and put their drama off onto you, and because a lot of times when people are hurting or in pain, they will want to dump it off on you, because that's what they call the pain body. And the pain body wants to vent, and it wants to dump it off on something else. And it wants your pain body to start venting to it, so it can feel like, it has someone to relate to, So it's just about understanding these things. But okay, I'm going to keep going through these points, but I wanted to give that right up front for everyone so that you can kind of really understand why people become so sensitive on fruit only. It's because it goes back to the spiritual and the mental state that's most important of all, And really what it's trying to do, the fruit is it's trying to get you to develop a better relationship with that part of yourself. It's just a lot of people aren't ready for that, because sometimes they have such a traumatic childhood and past and things that happened with their families that it was so hard on them, and it's still so hard on them to this day to even think about it, that they don't even want to even put any attention on it. What if they never really handled it right? Like they never really let go of that and just say that, no matter what happens to anything around me, I know it's very hard because we only have one family in this world, but think of it this way. Overall, your relationship with God, number one, and yourself, number two, is more important than any other relationship, because you're going to spend more time by yourself than you are with anyone else on this great planet. So think of it as this is the way I kind of outlook it. Maybe this will help all of you guys. Is that I love God and I love myself so much that anytime I get experiences and moments that I get to have with my family and my girlfriend Kaylee and all these people, I just look at that as a bonus. And I'm like, yes, I love that I get to have that on top of this joyful experience I get to have, just me being here, even if I didn't have any friends, anyone around. I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. I'm such an extrovert person, and I always need to have interaction with fellow humans. But I'm trying to say, there's been many times that I've went and had adventures and done things like off in the woods and stuff by myself, and I had a great time. And it was because I kind of view myself as my best friend, because that's part of loving yourself, and so when you can start to do that, then you can start to look at, you don't need others to fill up your love tank, because if you try to do that, that's only going to make you feel half full. You're never going to feel completely satisfied, and you're going to keep, love me. You see how so many relationships and so many people, they do that. They expect their mate or their mom or their family or someone to always love them, because they got that so much when they were a kid, and they never learned how to love themselves enough. See, I think it goes back to, if you are always raised that way, then how do you expect yourself to ever get used to developing that sort of love for yourself and not having to rely on outside sources and outside things? There's nothing wrong with having that. I'm just trying to say, I think every parent should, yes, love their children, but show them how to love themselves, and help them to learn how to develop that great love for themselves and not have to feel like that they need others' approval or others' love to feel love. That's a big one, a really, really big one, But okay, I'll keep going, Let's see. Do you want to learn why you are so sensitive to all energies? Well, truthfully speaking, if you really boil it down to it, I think we were designed to be this sensitive. I just think it's something that none of us have really experienced enough of in our previous lives, and even seeing our family members live this way, because everyone's always done things to suppress this major energy from coming to the surface. I tell everyone, I think that, when God created us all, or source, he blew the breath of life into us, as they say, and that's energy. He put a little spark of his energy into us. And that is a ball of energy that's inside of the core of who you are, your spirit and your soul. And it's trying to shine out bright light from that source of energy. And the more you tap into that source of energy, that's where your true self lives. That's where your spirit and your soul lives, is where that spark of energy is. And okay, so when you enhance that ball of light, it's going to try to push out all the darkness, all the trash. It's going to try to push it all to the surface. And now you have to be careful, because sometimes it will push it too fast to the surface, and some people will start to feel uneasy about that, because they've been spending so much of their life trying to push all those old memories and all those old experiences away, instead of processing them and letting them go and having lots of forgiveness and gratitude and appreciation for their past, regardless of the challenges, And so that's another reason why people don't understand that it's really, we're supposed to be that sensitive, because I think, hey, we live on the plane of duality. How can we expect to really have a very strong sense of love and appreciation for life without also feeling sometimes strong sadness and all of those feelings too? Because it's all part of the same picture. And really and truthfully, you want to embrace and know that they're all human experiences. So it's not bad to feel sadness and all those feelings either, because that's part of what it's like being a human, So that's why I'm telling you, just embrace being sensitive, embrace it, because the more you embrace it, you learn how to live with it. You learn how to understand that maybe that's the way we were supposed to live as humans, But it goes on, and I say, do you want to learn how the fruit is transforming you so much it may be challenging you more than you are ready for? Yeah, that's what I was talking about just a minute ago, about how sometimes people on this journey in life, we have this illusion that we think, because of our past brainwashing, that we think that, just getting healthy is only for the physical body. They never think that really your health journey is going to be more about the spiritual health working on. You're going to be spending more time working on your spiritual and your emotional than you even are the physical. Because really a lot of the physical problems that we have are caused from that not correct training and way to handle the spiritual and the mental stressors and the challenges of our lives. Because if you kind of take away that negative energy that's caused from that, then their health of their physical body will work so much better. I'll give you a perfect example. Did you know that a lot of times when I have my clients that tell me, they say, Thad, I have a bad problem with constipation or diarrhea. And I start talking about, well, is it possibly some kind of things that you're eating that could be stopping you up and keeping that flowing properly? Then if they're like, well, I've been eating pretty well, I don't understand why it still can be. And then when I start talking to them about how much their stress has been and how much their stress has been in their past, just all these things. And if they tell me they've had a lot of that problem and they've lived that way for a long time of their life, then I'm like, that's your reason why you're constipated or have diarrhea, is because everything works in our body everything is tied in with the nervous system. And every little weakness, every little emotion, even too much happiness and excitement can stress the nervous system just as much, too much sadness and anger. So it goes back again to being balanced. We don't want to try to let ourselves get too far out there either way. That's why if you look at all the spiritual greats and all the masters that understand that principle, you never see them get overly excited or get really upset. You can tell if someone's unbalanced by how their energy is. Like there's been a lot of these vegans and raw vegans that they've been really upset with some of these people that have dropped off the wagon, and they've lashed out at them and made videos just attacking them back and saying, how dare you, and all these things, when that's not the right way to do it. We can do it in a way of love and just saying that, hey guys, there's a reason why they had these challenges, and they didn't understand how to take care of themselves properly, and then they just were looking at it only from one side again. And they never thought that, because I listened to some of these people talking about this, and you could hear them, they're talking about, I've had a lot of stress and sleep problems and all that. And I'm like, well, have you ever thought that could be the reason why you're not able to do the plant-based diet? That could be the reason why you have these deficiencies. That could be the reason why you have your hormonal imbalances, is that because that can affect the body from being able to have that balance in the first place. Because, a lot of your hormones are produced in your adrenal glands. Well, what mainly stresses out the adrenal glands so bad? Yes, it is partly toxicity of the body, especially the colon, but also it's the emotions and the stress and your sleep patterns. And that's why people have to understand that when you truly want to holistically get healthy and well, or you want to try to maintain that, you have to do it from a holistic angle. You have to look at every single possibility that it can be. And you have to understand they're all connected in some way. And so that's why anyone that can really show you how to become a master of these things, they look at all these angles. They don't just say, are you eating a healthy, raw, plant-based diet? See, all these people that fell off the wagon, they're not addressing all these other issues, and so that's why you can tell that they're having these issues, is because they're unbalanced and they don't understand what needs to happen for them to have, complete, progress, But okay, I'll keep going. Do you want to know how it is not only making us feel sensitive, but the bacteria colonies in our body also? That's right. See, that's another thing that we have to realize, is that, our energy is not only affecting our bodies, but our energy is also affecting these parasite colonies. And the parasite colonies are affecting our energy some too, because of their energy. And also their waste products and byproducts are affecting our body too, and our nervous system. Again, it all goes back to the nervous system. And a lot of these parasites sometimes can be causing us to feel a lot of strong emotional feelings, because they're also down there where all these emotions are too, trying to feed on all the trash. So when you start stirring them up, you start stirring all this stuff up, that's why people start to feel so overwhelmed, is because they have so much trash and stuff being stirred up, but also the emotions and all these feelings they're feeling in their body all at the same time. And that's why it's very hard for people until they get enough experience and enough willpower to understand that this is just part of the process, that's why people so much, especially in the beginning stages, they start to doubt so much what they're doing because they don't understand. They don't understand what it's like to live this way, And so it just takes a lot of experience and willpower to want it bad enough that you're going to stick through all these challenges to see how you can get to the other side and you can be able to overcome these challenges and learn and grow. And that's what it takes to be the kind of people and humans that we want to be, But a lot of times people, they just don't understand how strong they have to be. And so they start finding any excuse, or they start being influenced from other people that are telling them that, maybe you should do this, maybe you should do that. And there's so much misinformation out there in the world that, you have to be careful what people tell you, So that's another reason why you want to make sure that you just do your research and your homework, and you just study, and you go and you look to people that are living the example of how they're able to maintain it, how they're able to live this lifestyle and do the things they've needed to do to get through all of these challenges. Someone that's always been a great influence and a great inspirer to me, because he's actually out there doing it and he's hung in there through all these challenges, is Dan McDonald, the Life Regenerator. He's not, of course, perfect like some people want to try to say that he is. He has different things that he does that aren't always 100%, but how do you expect everyone to be that way? I'm talking about be perfect. You can't, so he's human too, but he's really been able to take his experience and show what's necessary to help the body to have the quality of health that he's achieved so far. But if you look at Dan McDonald's story over the years, he's had more mental and spiritual challenges than even the physical, because of his past with his family and his mom and stuff like that, But okay, I'll keep going. I say, do you want to learn how this is the big reason so many people in our plant-based community online are falling off the wagon and going back to the animal products? Yeah, I was already talking about that pretty much, and just saying that that's the reason why they're falling off the wagon, is because they're not incorporating all the other techniques that they need to help themselves to, have the quality of health that they want, And also, too, they don't realize that maybe some of these issues that they had were like they were actually there before they even went plant-based. They just were under the surface. They had not come to the surface yet to show them they had that much of a challenge with it. And then they start blaming it on other things. They're just bringing it to the surface even more, like fasting and fruit and just different things like that helps bring it to the surface more, not to show you that that's causing the problem, but they are the great revealer again. The fasting and the fruit are the great revealers. They're not the cause. They're just showing you what was already there. And that, a lot of these people don't understand when they're really suppressing it strongly. And then also, too, some of these raw food people, they're still eating lots of nuts and seeds and things that are really congesting to the system really hard because they have a lot of fat and just they create a lot of mucus and stuff. So how do you expect them to truly be able to handle, some of these higher cleansing lifestyles when they've been used to eating a lot of that stuff, Okay, I keep going and I say, do you want to learn how you can master your strong sensitivity and major feelings while on the fruits without wanting to cave in and eat anything in sight? Okay, here's what you want to do, because I've had this challenge many times in my journey so far, and it has been very challenging. And sometimes, yes, I did cave in because that was very hard to maintain this high sensitivity sometimes. And see, if you really think about it, the only time it's hard to maintain this high sensitivity is when we start getting overwhelmed with stress again. That's because we've let it build up too much. Like, I'll give you an example. There was times when I wasn't able to do enough meditation, enough deep breathing, enough time in nature, enough things to just kind of let these emotions and feelings come out that are coming to the surface while I'm trying to be on these really high sensitive diets. Like I was doing one time, I was doing a strong dark grape fast, mostly dark seeded grapes with the strong herbs to help detox my body. And I had been on the fruit journey for pretty much 90 to 95% of the whole journey was mostly all fruits. And every now and then I ate some veggies that we were growing in our garden. This was all like last summer, last fall, and all the way up to the late fall, and then I actually got so overwhelmed with the stress and responsibility and things like that. And then it started getting colder weather. And I started first just trying to eat just a little bit of mucus-free steamed veggies and just, little things like that. Maybe a little bit of mucus-free salads and things, and maybe just a little bit of avocado and stuff. But then, oh man, it was such a slippery slope, even eating those foods, because then it just led to more cravings, to more things. When really what I needed to do more than anything is I needed to go and just sit and relax and just meditate and just ask myself, well, Thad, what's making you feel so sensitive? What do you need to work on that these foods will not satisfy? Because I'll give you an example. One time, the time when I gave in after doing that, I wanted some guacamole and some cucumbers and some other veggies to eat to help me to feel better. But honestly, it didn't really make me feel better. I still felt irritable. I still felt not satisfied after I ate it, because I felt it was heavy on my stomach, and it was hard for my body to process all that right after just eating the fruits and the grapes and all the herbs. And so I really learned then that I didn't get any satisfaction from it anyway. So it's like, why did I need to do it? I didn't. I needed to just keep going on my journey. I just needed to learn from those challenges how to be able to master without giving in. And that's the real truth, is that you really just want to ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? What's causing me to feel this way? What's been going on lately, the reason why I feel this way? And trust me, when that happened to me, I had been overwhelmed with joy and little small stressors, because that week I had been at Dr. Morse's class, and I got so overwhelmed emotionally and was super sensitive just being around all those amazing people that was at Dr. Morse's class. And then also the stress just from traveling and just having lots of things we were trying to do. And then my girlfriend Kaylee was getting a little stressed too. And so finally I was just like, well, I can't take it any longer. When I could, I was just giving in. It got to be really challenging, so that's what I'm getting at. Because see, when I'm not stressed, I can do fruits really easily, because I love fruit so much, because not only do I love the taste, but I love how it makes me feel. I just feel so comfortable. I feel so relaxed. I feel so happy and joyful. And I can tell my body does too, because it really loves the feeling of fruits. And it's just only when I start to get stressed and a little overwhelmed with like responsibility and things that are kind of putting pressure on me, because I don't want to let my clients down. I don't want to make them have to wait too long and things like that. And so I start to feel bad when I start to have things pile up on me too much, and then I can't get to everyone in a timely manner. Or if I start forgetting some people I need to talk to, and just different things that can happen sometimes. And then I start to beat myself up for it, and I start to feel bad that I'm not on top of these things better, And so that's some of the things that can cause us to have stress, is when we have lots of responsibility. And some people, they tell me that it's hard for me because I have family responsibilities. I have to do this for my family. I have to work. I have to, just all these kind of things that can make it hard for us to do what we want to do in our lifestyles too, because everyone's situation is a little bit different, So I understand you have to just, adapt it to your lifestyle and what's going on, But okay, before I keep going with any more points, I want to see if I have any comments or anything that anyone said about, if you guys do have any questions about these things, it can maybe help me to remember, more things to talk to you about, along this subject, of course. Let's see. Carol said, hi, Thad and friends. Hello, Carol. And Amy said, I can tell you've been juicing, Thad. You look great. Thank you for being here and sharing. Thank you, Amy. I feel much better. I really do. And it's been 24 days that we've been juicing so far. And I really feel so much better being on the juice cleanse, and just, I feel better, like I'm already back to it, and I'm already back on track, and I just feel much better that I'm back doing it. And then you said, I totally use fat to suppress heavy emotion. Really done with that. LOL. Not worth it. Yes, that's so true, because it really doesn't get to the root cause of the problem. It just temporarily makes us feel satisfied, when really sometimes it doesn't really make you feel satisfied, because you didn't address the true cause in the first place. The cause is still there, even though you feel a little bit more like not as sensitive. All that the fat and those things do is they just take away the sensitivity. But the issue of the reason why you are stressed in the first place is still there. So really, what would you rather do? Would you rather take away something that's going to hold you back from having more progress? Because the fat does suppress you from being able to have more progress. And just address the reason why you're stressed in the first place, then that's the core to helping us to learn how to be the best humans we can be. Because that's the whole thing really that it boils down to, this whole conversation. Like I told you earlier, guys, is it's just really the spiritual and the emotional and the mental challenges of just being a human. I mean, just all these things that I could go into that I'd be talking for hours on end of how it's just so challenging being a human, and just not always thinking that it's fair that we have to have some of these challenges and that we don't have a longer period of life on this planet to live. When really, anytime you feel those feelings, because I've had those feelings too, and I just have to remind myself, but Thad, don't you realize you've lived longer and a more fulfilling life than some people would even dream of. And then also some people, they don't even get to live as long as you do. So there's always someone out there in the world that can make you feel like you are blessed. And so you have to understand that it's just about seeing the bigger picture. I always give the analogy for any of you that may have not heard of it is, don't just think of the glass half full or half empty. Be glad you got the glass at all, because the glass is life. And that means take on, whether you take the negative or you take on the harder challenges, as well as you take on the amazing challenges or the amazing opportunities, take them as all one big part of being a human. And that really, you can't have one without the other. So, to me, any sad day, any bad day, any challenging day is better than not being here at all. Because I look at it as there's something beautiful that you can learn and you can grow from that experience. So when you really think that way, there is no bad experiences we can have on our planet here. And you may say, well, Thad, what if something tragic happened to one of my family members and it broke me down hardcore? Well, that's happened to many people, but something beautiful can also come out of that. I had one man, he was that way. He lost his son tragically, and he said it brought him closer to spirit or to God, and it helped him to have that better connection. And so in one way, it helped him to have something beautiful come out of that horrible experience of losing his son. So there's always an example that we can look at life from a more positive lenses, more positive way of viewing things. We can try to focus on gratitude and appreciation. And also another thing that I can mention that can help you all to not be so sensitive is reprogram your subconscious mind. Work on things that you can do that helps you to think more positively. That's by using like positive affirmations and just reminding yourself of the things that are positive and filled with lots of gratitude. Like instead of saying, oh, I don't feel good today, or oh, I don't look good today, or oh, I'm not proud of myself because I did this yesterday, or all those things. Don't think of it that way. Just think of it like, for example, if you did something that was embarrassed yourself yesterday, just think, well, that wasn't very pleasant and I didn't enjoy that a whole lot, but what can I learn from it? What can I look at it as maybe a positive thing? And you start to view things in more of a positive light instead of just always sometimes beating ourselves up over these challenges we can have, And so it's just all about reprogramming the way we view the world and we view these experiences in life. And that's why sometimes, people, they don't understand because they don't have any of this kind of training. They don't have any of this kind of understanding. And some people are too close-minded. They still have so much this old programming in their being that they have to let go of. Programming just from being around the environment of where you've lived and grown up, like your parents, your uncles, your other family members, things that they say to you that are kind of negative. That's them sharing their negative programming that they tell themselves. They're spewing it towards you because they're so used to saying it to themselves. And so you have to remember that, don't really take what someone else says about you to heart too much, because that's only their point of view. And don't let their point of view affect your point of view for yourself, because it's very easy to do that. My girlfriend's had many times where every time her mom would say something kind of negative to her, it would bother her pretty bad, until she started working on retraining herself to understand that that's just her mom's way of looking at it. That has nothing to do with the way she looks at it, because she can come from a different angle and she cannot have a lot of that negative mindset and negative programming, and it's just about having an open mind and allowing ourselves to grow with these experiences that can show us that there is a better way. We just have to work on it little by little every day and just continue to realize that we're growing, we're expanding, we're becoming the better version of ourselves. We're letting the light shine brighter and brighter to the point where everyone that's around you, they're going to be like, wow, you're just such a beautiful being that's shining such amazing light. I can see your aura. I can feel your energy. And then they'll want some of that too. And just you being in their presence will light them up. Like right now, I'm strongly channeling, and I can feel that energy inside of me that just makes me feel so happy and joyful. And I feel it coming out. And that's the reason why I love doing the videos and talking about these subjects, is because I really let that part of me that it comes through the video screen, and you can hear it in my words, and it can help you to give you a little spark and to kind of jumpstart you. I'm like some jumper cables, I'm trying to just, jumpstart you and make you like, whoa, okay, now I need to do something about this, but sometimes we need just a little kick in the ass, right? But okay, I'm going to keep going, But Amy said it has too big of a negative kickback. Yeah, talking about the fat again. Yeah. And then keeping on going, Lavia is here. Hello, Lavia. And then Evan said, so best tips for cravings according to you: make everything in your life flow into positivity. Yes, that's right. The thing with cravings is that it's mostly candida and yeast as you're trying to transition and clean up the bowels, because sometimes we have so much trash that's trapped in these little pockets and areas of the bowels that's one reason why the candida can really make us feel strong emotions. But also, what's trapped in those pockets of trash again? Emotions and feelings of our past. Because remember, guys, all the greats, including Dr. Jensen and all these people, they talked about every time you eat a food, if you eat it in any sitting of a strong emotions, like even any kind of emotions, you're swallowing those emotions with that food, and then that energy gets trapped in your body. That's why it's very important not to eat if you're stressed or upset. It's very important not to be around and talk with people, or even hearing them talk to other people with stress and anxiety that could be going into your ears and affecting you, or even just being in their presence. You can feel that irritation. You don't want to be around those people, that you want to just, even if you have to just say, well, I'll have to wait and eat later, because Dr. Jensen said it. He said, stress has no place at the dinner table. And that's why, is because these things can affect our body in such a negative way, and it really it affects our digestion properly to digest the foods. Because why again? It affects our nervous system, and that's why it's very important to learn, because the nervous system is so affected from energies, because that's all that really helps the nervous system to work right, is the right kind of energies. And then the things that inhibit the nervous system and make us feel these strong weaknesses are negative energies. And that's why energy is so important. I tell the story for any of you that haven't heard this before. They've done examples of how energy doesn't just affect us. It affects everyone in our presence, or also the energy we put out affects other things around us. They took a big group of kids in a classroom. They split them up into two pairs. One group, they told them to go up to this plant. They had two plants that they split up in those two pairs too. And they said, one group go up to this plant and be friendly to it and be kind. And the other group go up to this other plant and be mean to it and be a bully. And it was an analogy of why you shouldn't be a bully, And they gave it the same nutrients. It was the same breed of plants. And the plant, over a couple months of them doing this, the plant that was being loved was 2 feet taller than the other plant. And that just shows energies affect other living beings and other living things in our world too, And then the same thing they did with even jars of cooked rice. They took 2 jars of cooked rice and they put one evil word on the outside of one of the jars and a positive word on the outside of the other jar. And it was the jar that had the evil word on it molded twice as fast. And so it just goes back to energy and how energy can affect everything, and that's why they talk about if you have negative energy flowing through your heart is the greatest outsource of energy that there is in your whole entire body. And that's also where a lot of them say your soul lives or your spirit. And so when you put out negative energy, that affects everything, especially your amygdala. Your amygdala is right there above your master glands. And if your master glands aren't working right, or they have a lot of stress, then how do you expect all of your other glands to work right, you know? And your glands are kind of like your computers of the body. You know, they help to regulate and help the hormone flow and everything. They help everything work better, you know? And then also, you know, the heart's energy, if it's filled with love, that love affects everything on a positive way too. And they said that heart puts off so much energy that you can gauge it 7 to 10 feet away from the body. That's how strong it is, you know. But yeah, so that's another example. But yeah, so just try to look at things in a more positive light and not let those little things irritate you, because they might add up and it might overflow your stress tank. Remember, you want to keep your stress tank really low, and you want to do things to maintain that through meditation, relaxation, stress reduction techniques, getting plenty time in nature, and just things that help you feel that, you know, because when you, like just then, when I just did that noise, that felt relaxing. So literally just going, you know, that is a sigh of relief, and that does make you feel better. Just doing something as simple as that, you know, okay. And then also that's another reason why they talk about certain tones. That's why they talk about like singing bowls and also humming the word om, you know, different tones affect our flow of energy in our bodies as well. That's why the yoga people and the meditation people and all those people talk about the different tones as well as the different techniques we can do to help the flow of energy go through our nervous system properly too, you know. But yeah, so just try to have more gratitude, more appreciation, and do a lot of those things. And that can help your cravings to not be as bad. But also take a parasite cleanse like Candida or yeast cleanse, or deworm yourself if it's not been very long since you come off of animal products, you know. Yeah. Well, there's Morel joined. Hello, Morel. And Amy said, love that. Being your own best friend. Solitude is golden. Yes, well, truthfully, it starts with us. I mean, it starts with our love for our Creator, you know, and Source that give us this amazing life. And then number 2, it starts with us. And then because you can't give out what you don't have, you know, so you can love your children better. You can love your husbands better. You can love your wives better if you love yourself enough first, because you can't give out what you don't have, you know. And then Stephanie said, yes, emotional constipation. That's right. That's right. There's many different kinds of constipation. It's just people don't understand these things, you know, sometimes. And there's Annetta. Hello, Annette. And Edmund. Hello, guys. And then Carol said, I've been fascinated by the shift in relationships and community externally too. Yes, because we're in the age of awakening, you know, and there's so many of us that are coming and they're wakening up, but there's also equally the evil powers are trying to confuse us. They're trying to make us think that, oh, you don't need to think about awakening. You just need to keep doing what you're doing. Just keep doing what you've been doing, because that's what we want you to do. We want you to continue to be brainwashed, continue to live in the matrix, and just continue to be a consumer, continue to buy, be stressed, live off the pharmaceuticals, do these programs that we've set up so that we can be the superpowers and be rich and be able to have control. That's why you got to break that old programming, and you got to say, no, I'm going to choose to live my life as a human the way I want to, and the only one that's in control of me is me and no one else, you know. And that's why we want to try to shift this and help people to know that they have their power and get their power back and stop giving it to all these other sources that make them feel powerless. You know, so, you know, this is about us all joining together. We can all help each other. You know, we don't have to stand up and say, oh, I know better than you or anything. That's just the ego again. Just say we're all connected. We're all together. We're all brothers and sisters. We can all love each other equally as much as we love ourselves. And we can all come together and just help each other. You know, that's why I love connecting with all of you guys, because I want to keep spreading this love and joy. And I want you to go out and spread that love and joy to someone else, you know. And so, you know, it's all about just helping others and then giving them lots of encouragement and support to the world where they will want to pass it on. They want to keep passing it on, you know. Okay. And then Athena joined, and Amy said, I'm not influenced by other people, and I never have anyone say anything to me scary or otherwise. I think that's because I have no fear. Yeah, you have to let go of the fear sometimes. Remember, fear is just false evidence appearing real. It's just your state of mind, just your awareness, the way you view world. There's really no reason to have fear. You can really let go of anything that would make you think you have fear and just trust that it's all going to work out the way it's supposed to, not the way you maybe want it to, but the way it's supposed to. So you really learn you should never have any fear about anything, really. And it goes on, you said, I think that's because I have no fear. I know in my soul that we can live on prana. So I only eat fat or processed food, though considered healthy due to heavy emotions. That's right. And just remind ourselves, love yourself even though you have those moments of weakness. Because, I'm not saying that we should never eat these fatty foods again. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that when you're in a period of time when you have a lot of cleaning to do in your body and you have a lot of emotions to get out from your past, then you need to work on that and have a break from these things that are holding you back. That's what I'm saying. Because am I telling you to never eat an avocado again? Am I telling you never to eat maybe a little bit of some of the healthier seeds and nuts again? Am I telling you to never eat those foods again? No, I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to say, should you really be eating those foods, or should you really be working to regain the quality of health that you want? And then when you get clean enough and you're on maybe a maintenance period or a building phase, then you can eat a little bit more fats. But then when you go back on a detox phase again, because you want to do them in cycles, you want to go detox, maintenance, building, detox, maintenance, building. Keep cycling through. Maybe not building every time either. Maybe you're just doing detox and then maintaining what you've been doing. Because when you come off of a detox, you have to have lots of self-control and lots of discipline, because you can let yourself go and then you'll fall right back into the old patterns from your past. And before you know it, you'll be stuck back where you were before. And then you have to work all the way to get back to where you were. And then you're able to move forward even more. And I've had many of those moments in my life that I've had that happen. And then every time I learn from them, and I learned that it was reminders, great reminders that, hey, Thad, that's not as important as just sticking to the things that can help you succeed at what you're trying to do and what you truly feel your soul is calling you to do. See, that's another thing we all have to remember. What is our true purpose on this planet? And once you find that, then that's what you're designed to be here to do, And my true purpose is to just be a great messenger, because I have the gift of gab. I have the gift of conversation. I have the gift of when people talk to me, I can almost hear in my mind and I can almost feel the feelings in my body. It says, Thad, this is what they need to hear. This is what you need to tell them in that moment, so it can help them to feel better and to be motivated and inspired to keep going. And so I've learned over the years before I even started on this detox path, I've learned how to listen to people better. And it's taken me a while being such a big talker, because sometimes I didn't really listen to people close enough because I was too busy wanting to talk and people to hear me, when I didn't realize that part of conversating is just as much listening greatly as you do talk too. And that you can't really be a good conversationalist without being a good listener. And so that's something I've really learned over the last 5 years of being with my girlfriend, because you have to listen to women enough. If you don't, they're not going to be too happy, because they want to be heard too, and sometimes you have to just not talk at all and just let them sit there and vent and just let it out, because, they don't want you over there trying to tell them what they need to do, because they're just trying to be heard. And when they're being heard, they don't want you to talk. You just need to listen, So that really helped me to understand that they just listen. But then I realized something that was amazing, is that I started noticing that I'm not just listening with my ears. I'm listening with my feelings. I'm listening to the emotions that are coming out when she's talking to me. I'm looking at her face. I'm looking at her body language. I'm looking at all these telltale signs that I never realized before when I was just listening with my ears. I wasn't listening with my eyes. I wasn't listening with my feelings. I wasn't taking in all the information that I could to help me to later, when she asked me for advice or things that I could help her in that situation, if she asked me for that, then I could give her some advice. And it's because sometimes you just have to express to people, what their emotions that they're feeling, not always the best advice for what they should do in that situation. Maybe you should just tell them, well, I feel that first you need to address these strong emotions that you're having for some reason, and you may just be taking it out on that certain situation that happened. when really it was other causes. See, sometimes we have a tendency to do that too. We have a tendency to point fingers in other directions when that's not really the root cause of what's going on. And that sometimes we don't address the root cause because it brings up too strong of emotions again. So we're really, again, just trying to push that away, and don't give that attention. Because some of us feel like if I give it attention, then I'm going to stir myself up and then I'm not going to be able to quit thinking of it. Well, they don't never think, well, what if giving it attention, you should help it to come out? That you got to have a release process. And I tell people, you want to say, sit real calmly, close your eyes and say, I release all negative thoughts and emotions that I'm feeling right now that no longer serve me, that are from my past, and I choose to let them go. And then when you say let them go, imagine them drifting off your body up into the atmosphere and no longer causing you to be a slave to those past experiences from your past. Because that's why so many people, they talk about living in the now. Because all we really experience is the now when we live in the now. Because when you were in the past, you were in the now. When you're in the future, you're in the now. And that's called the present moment. It really is a present. It's a gift. It's something you should cherish. So every day you should really just be saying, how can I enjoy today? Me and my girlfriend Kayla, we do two things every day that we try to do every day. We wake up and we say, Thad or Kaylee, what do I want to do today to enjoy this day I'm never going to get back in my life again? And how do I want to enjoy this day of being a human? What do I want to do today to enjoy my life? And then when you're at the evening time, before you're going to retire and go to sleep, and that day is going to be gone and you're never going to get it back, look back on that day with gratitude and appreciation and thankfulness of getting to experience that day and what you got to experience. And so you start your day with lots of gratitude and appreciation, and you end the day that way too. And then you begin the day again with lots of desire to just enjoy the process of life and just enjoy your life in that moment and not get too hung up on the past and things you could have done different and get too hung up on the future and things that you want to do different. Because there's no reason to beat yourself up for something that already happened, and there's no reason to get too hung up on the future when you don't know if it's going to turn out the way that a lot of times that you want it to in the first place. A lot of times it's going to change and do something different that you never thought of, that you really needed more than what you were dreaming about or what you were focused on, because a lot of times that happens. The things we desire, Source or God has other plans for us because we need it to happen a little bit different than the way we always envision it, But okay, I'll keep going. Amy said, what do you need to work on that? Oh, let's see. Let me reread it. What do you need to work on that this food won't satisfy? Brilliant question. Made me tear up when you said it. Well, that's so true. It's just like, it's sometimes we have to realize food really you shouldn't have strong emotions from eating food. I'm not saying we shouldn't eat fruit and just be like, oh, wow, this is amazing. But when we have to really be careful eating foods that aren't healthy foods, like fruits and vegetables, that really make us feel that, oh, wow, this is amazing. Because then you impregnate or you imprint on your brain and your being that, oh, I want that food again later. And see, that's the problem, is that if you eat something really stimulating, really fatty, really exciting, it's very hard for us later not to want it again because you imprinted that feeling and that emotion on your body. See, that's why the greats say it's more important to be careful of your thoughts and your emotions than it is even just it's more important to be careful of your emotions and your feelings than your thoughts. Because, you can think of something and just be something random that doesn't really make you have a strong emotional reaction or a strong feeling from that thought. But if you have a strong feeling or emotion from that thought, that's affecting your subconscious. That's affecting your body. And that can either create your reality tomorrow, or it can be positive, or it can create something negative because you attract your outcome tomorrow from your thoughts and your emotions too, because you're putting that energy out. When you put that energy out, that's the law of attraction. It will come back to you. It's not always the energy you do in actions, but it's also thoughts and emotions too, because they are energy as well. So that's why it's very important to be aware of the thoughts and emotions that you experience. And I get this from a lot of those greats that talk about the power to reprogram our subconscious brain. because that's a lot of times where we think a lot of these things that are just old programming, because the subconscious brain, it takes a while to unprogram the BS from your past and program back in the good things, Okay, I'll keep going. Evan said, I love that. Just have the glass. That's right. That's right. Glad you like that, Evan. And then Carrie joined, Sonny joined, Lily, and Lisa. Lisa said, hello, Thad. Hello, guys. All right. Well, I had a good talk about all those subjects. So now I'm going to go back to some of these bullet points. But if you guys keep having any comments or questions or things, I love that, because that really helps me to maybe think of different things I can tell you that go along with this subject, to help us to learn how to live better as humans, But okay, because I want to start working on wrapping the call up today, or the talk, because I want to try to leave them as close to around an hour, 20 minutes, something around there, because make it where it's not too long for people, I usually have longer talks when I do Q&As, because I want to answer everyone's questions. But when I'm just giving a simple talk on a subject, I don't like to drag it out too much, But okay, I'll keep going so I can wrap this up. And I thank you guys so much for watching me today. I appreciate it. I hope you've all enjoyed this subject, and I hope I've given you some things to think about and some tools to help you to learn how to handle your sensitivities better, Okay, I keep going. It says, do you want to understand why we feel like sometimes we are stressed while trying to detox on only fruit, and the only thing that will help us feel better is to eat something besides fruit? Yeah, that's what I was talking about, how we think that the only thing that's going to help us feel better is eat those more sedating foods. And that's what we were talking about earlier, when really it's not that. That's just covering it up. That's just a suppressant agent again. When really we need to focus on getting to the root cause of these issues, not just doing like we've been taught so much in our lives, with just treat it or sedate it or just cover it up or just push it away, Because that's why so many people in the world, we grew up with so many people that they run away from their challenging moments, because they always say growth is hard. They resist growth because they think it's going to be too challenging, when they don't realize they're resisting the thing that can help them more than anything. And that's why it's so ironic that the things we refuse are the things we should use. I love all types of music, but I remember one time I was listening to a reggae song by Bob Marley, and it was called The Head Corner Stone. And he sang, the stone that the builder refused is the stone that he should have used. And it's the analogy that, sometimes the things that we resist are the things that are there to help us the most. It's just we resist them because they are hard and challenging, when we don't realize the path least traveled is the more rewarding path. And the path the majority of the masses that are following is yes, it's the easier path. But you never get to the more rewarding ways to live as a human. They're all the surface stuff. They're all the living in the matrix. They're all just the things that are really keeping you from being able to express your true human rights and personality that you have, and also letting your true soul or spirit come to the surface. The path that is easier is wanting you to not even really think that you're a spirit and you're just a human. And the path that's harder is letting you understand that you are a spirit, and that you should focus on that more than you are a human body, because you're going to one day leave this body, and that spirit's going to continue on, and so you got to not identify too much with this as who you are, because it's just your temporary vehicle here on this planet to enjoy life. So we got to take care of it. We got to keep it working good. We got to enjoy it as much as we can. We got to be friendly to it and kind to it and love it and appreciate it, because we're not going to be able to trade it in and get a new one, We can't say, oh, hey, I don't want this one. I just want to go get another one. I mean, now some people talk about reincarnation, and you might have to get another one because you didn't learn right the first time. But if you think about it, a lot of people say that when you can truly express who you are and overcome these challenges, that sometimes we don't always have to come back and keep reincarnating or keep redoing these things, because we learned how to be a human the first time, But of course, that's going into some of that gray territory that everyone can have a difference of opinions, So I just wanted to slightly touch on that, But okay, I'll keep going. Oh, well, that's pretty much all. So guys, to wrap it up, that's all of my bullet points. The next one I said is I'll go over these topics in order. So Oh, I know what I was going to say is one of the last things that I wanted to tell you is then you can also ask me some questions too. And you can ask the questions while I'm fixing to tell you these things. Is it okay? I want to end the conversation always on how you can become better at these challenges, and how you can be able to take on these experiences and be able to master them better and grow from these experiences. Is first, it all starts always, guys, with self-love and love for the Creator and God. That's the best healing energy. That's the best alkaline energy that we can always focus on the most. And that is more important than anything else we do. Anything else we do, we want to try to always do it from a place of love, and always try to view everything, the whole world, with love. Even the people that you know that are doing evil things, still choose to send them love. Because remember, what you put out comes back to you. And so you want to always be cautious what you put out. Because trust me, what comes back always comes back more intensely. So you want to just always say that I choose today to send out love in every way. Even if someone's talking bad about you, still say, well, I understand they may have that opinion, and I understand there may be something about me that it maybe bothers them or irritates them or something, but I'm still going to choose to send them love. And I'm going to choose to say that, hey, they're entitled to their opinion and all that, instead of just like letting your pain body and your ego just make you want to lash out to them and just say negative things because you're all like, oh, how dare you? I'm not doing that. How dare you accuse me of that? You know, when really we should just say, well, why don't you look at how you're talking to me? That's a reflection on yourself and how you view things in life. Because if they truly loved theirself enough and everyone else, they wouldn't even have anything to say to you, even if you were doing something very bad. Because I mean, they would want to say something about, hey, you might need to do something different, or hey, if you were doing something really horrible to hurt someone else, then yes, you would want to stop them, but that doesn't mean you have to talk negative and talk bad towards them. You can just, do something about it, or help the person that, that's, what I mean? There's always exceptions to every situation, but we can try to do it from a loving place. That's why also all the greats said, love your enemies, but you don't have to like them. You can still choose to love them, though, because that goes back to that law of attraction, and law of what you put out comes back, And then also the next thing you can do is, if you have that good basic understanding, and then you understand how a lot of times these feelings and emotions that are coming up are only from like past situations on how we've dealt with stress in the past, and how you have to learn how to handle and deal with stress in a better way. And you have to learn these new techniques like more meditation, more deep breathing. Because did you know when people have anxiety and stress, they breathe too shallow? And when you breathe too shallow, you don't get enough oxygen. And that can cause people to not have enough, alkalinity in their body too. And so you want to start practicing more deep breathing, more meditation, more yoga, more things to help us to have more stress come out of our body, more positive affirmations, more things that are just great reminders on how to reduce stress. Because a lot of people, they don't know how to to fully let their stress go. They don't know how to develop new patterns and habits and lifestyles that will help them maintain and manage their stress and keep it from getting too bad at times. And even I'm still challenged with that sometimes, but I'm learning more and more on how to become better at this, from a lot of experience, and from a lot of moments where I did break down and it was hard for me to keep going, So I've learned a lot from my experiences, and that's helped me a lot on this journey, But that's pretty much the main things of how to handle being real sensitive on fruit. But let's see if anyone else has any more comments for me. Let's see. Amy said, thank you for the hour time frame. You're very welcome, Amy, And then let's see. Evan said, extra motivation again. Thanks for the kickstart. You're very welcome, Evan, And then Stephanie says, this is perfect timing. I'm on day 3 of a juice fast and feel very motivated right now. Yet you are talking about a lot of the common pitfalls that I've experienced. Thank you. You're more than welcome. And this is the reason why I like talking about these subjects with you guys. And this is the reason why me and Alexandra connected the way we did. And Alexandra asked me to, come and give talks to the group and stuff, and I'm very honored. I come from a place of being very honored in doing what I do, because I feel very lucky to be able to live my life's dream and my life's purpose. and to just be rewarded by my clients and people to help me to be able to live this lifestyle and be able to have the resources and the money and the funds to be able to keep myself going and not have to work an average job, and I still get to travel and do all these amazing things. That's one reason why I'm so dedicated to helping others, because the more I help others, the more I want to help myself too, and vice versa, But okay, guys, well, and then Carol said, peaceful warrior. Yeah, that's right, And so, guys, I really have enjoyed talking with you today. It just really helped me to be filled with so much love and gratitude and appreciation, and just thankful that I can share this with people that really appreciate this message. So I thank you so much for coming and listening to me. And if I can help you any way in this journey, just reach out to me. I love to give people iridology readings and help them in any way too, And so just let me know if I can help any way, or sometime too, for any of you that aren't a part of my group, come join my group. My group's named Journey to Wellville. I'd love to have you there as well. And I give live talks every evening on Sundays, at 5 p.m. Central Time. But I'm fixing to start changing that up, and I think I'm going to have them earlier in the day so that I don't have to go so later in the evening too, and also that way more of my European people can watch me too, and it won't be so late in the evening, for them. But well, thank you guys so much. If you don't have any more questions for me this afternoon, which I don't see anymore, or no more comments on this great subject, I hope I covered it pretty well. I tried to come up with as many things to explain it to you the best I could. And I really appreciate you all being here, and thank you so much. And I look forward to talking to you on the next talk that I do, and answering any questions, or just talking about different subjects and different posts that we all talk about. So I hope everyone's, journey to Wellville is balanced spiritually, mentally, and physically. Take care, my friends, and much love to you all, and namaste. And I hope you have a great afternoon, great weekend, and a great upcoming week. And take care, my friends. Bye-bye. Talk to you next time.